Now let's talk a little bit about how you'll feel during the rapid fat burning phase. The first 2 days of the rapid fat burning, when you just get on the 5 shakes a day, you're going to have some hunger. Your body's just not used to the amount of calories you're taking in, and you haven't started kicking into the rapid fat burning state yet. So you'll feel hungry. You're going to want to eat. You'll feel like you have a pretty heavy duty appetite. Really resist the temptation though. This is where you need to use your willpower, because after the first couple days your body is going to start becoming ketogenic, and you will all of a sudden find that you're not hungry anymore. Most people throughout the rapid fat burning phase have very little hunger, at least not real hunger. You know, if you smell a food or something like that, you may get a twinge of sensation of, oh, that'd be nice to have, but true hunger is actually suppressed in most people. So make sure that you get through these first couple days. You also might feel lethargic, tired for a few days. Once you kick into the rapid fat burning mode though, on day 3, 4, or 5, most people find that their energy level goes up, and a lot of people say they just feel great, that they never felt this good while they're doing the rapid fat burning. So it's not a bad feeling, and it's not a real hungry all the time when you're going through this. Now, it's very important that you don't eat at all anything else besides what we're supplying you with. What happens if you do eat? Well, it's going to kick you out of the rapid fat burning state and into regular fat burning mode, which slows down your metabolism, slows down your weight loss, but it also is going to kick you into being hungry. Even eating a small bite of a couple things can make you feel hungry for even a couple days, so really resist the temptation. Also, make sure that your friends and family know that you're doing this, and that it's sabotaging you if they try to feed you something. I mean, friends and family will say, oh, just have a taste. Taste won't hurt, just a little bit. But you need to be strong, and you need to have willpower, and tell them that no, if you eat, you're going to get hungry, and you don't want to get hungry. Also, if you eat, you're not going to metabolize as well, and as a result, you won't lose fat in the way that we want you to lose. Now, your medical provider can often tell if you've been eating, because what happens when you eat is that you will start burning protein. Some protein, not all protein, but you'll start burning a little bit of protein and muscle along with the fat that you're burning. So when he or she looks at your body fat analysis, what they'll find often is that instead of losing 70% fat and 30% water, that your body fat analysis will show that during the previous 2 weeks you only lost 50% fat, and the other 50% is protein and water. So you can't really fool them. So be honest with your medical provider all the time, and by all means don't eat, because it does throw you into a state which is not going to get you to where you want to be as quickly, and it's going to make you hungry. And so stick with the shakes, don't have anything else. And tell those family members and friends that they have to be supportive, that they have to help you along, not make it harder for you by offering you things. They may be thinking of a diet they were on where they could have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it didn't hurt at all as long as it was a small amount. Well, that's absolutely not the case with this eating plan. This eating plan has to be followed strictly. Now, as far as fluids, getting a little bit more information on the fluids, we talked about having a certain amount of fluids throughout the day. There's one thing about burning fat that's important to understand, and that's that if you don't have enough fluids, you won't burn as much fat. So in addition to the fluids you mix in with the shakes, we want you to have 96 ounces of fluids per day. That can be a little at a time. You can have a lot in the morning and sporadically a little less throughout the day. But count it up throughout the day, 96 ounces minimum. Because providing enough fluids makes you metabolize fat more faster, basically. And we want the fat metabolized as fast as possible. So don't skimp on the fluids. A lot of us don't have thirst mechanisms that are as great as they were when we were teenagers, and we don't get that thirsty, but we need the fluids in order to make this all work, and make sure you get it. How about sleep? Your medical provider will probably ask you a lot about sleep. Sleep has been found to be very important when it comes to weight loss. If you don't sleep properly, if you don't get at least 7 hours of sleep per night, a couple things happen. Number one, you metabolize differently and you're not going to burn as much fat. And number two, your cravings for food can go up quite a bit. So your desire to eat other things goes up when you're tired. There's some type of a mechanism in us that if we're tired and we didn't get enough sleep, we want to feed ourselves to try to make ourselves feel better. And feeding ourselves is not what we want you to be feeling like when you're doing the program. So find a way to get 7 or 8 hours of sleep. If you're not getting it and you're having trouble sleeping, talk to your provider about what other aids might be available for sleep, and don't skimp on your hours. Get used to going to bed at an early enough time that can get you at least 7 hours, and preferably 8, and even for women 9 hours of sleep. Sometimes during the rapid fat burning phase, people will say that they feel cold a lot. They wonder if maybe their thyroid's off or something's happening with that. No, the thyroid's not the problem. You're metabolizing differently now. You're not taking in as much calories as you were before, so your body recognizes that. And it may make your extremities, your hands, your feet cold. It may make your body feel cold. Also, you're losing fat. And fat is a great insulator. When we don't have that insulation anymore, as the fat levels come down, our bodies can lose heat more easily. So you may find that you need more clothing as insulation rather than being insulated by that fat that you used to have. But what would you rather have? Wear more clothing or be insulated by fat? I think most of us would rather wear more clothing and have less fat. Another important thing to be making sure that you take is Actigol or baby aspirin. When we are on any weight loss program or weight loss regimen, our gallbladder slows down in terms of how much it's contracting. And when it's not contracting as much, it can kind of slow down. The gallbladder stores bile. Bile is used for breaking down fats. And the bile becomes the bile, because we're not needing to break down the fats as much, is not as necessary, so our gallbladder is not contracting all the time. It sort of is like a river that dries out. In the summer, it becomes a nice flowing river that can then turn into sludge as it dries out. And that sludge is what the bile can do, which, if it goes unprotected, can cause potentially gallstones. So Actigol is a bile thinning agent. It makes the bile thinner and makes it flow more smoothly. So make sure that you're taking Actigol every day if that's prescribed by your medical provider, or the alternative is baby aspirin. And so either one will thin the bile and make the bile flow more smoothly and reduce that risk of getting gallstones that occurs whenever there's weight loss.